barrel of her gun shook as she pointed it at him. Lillian Graves had stolen before, food, coins, even horse once, but never from a man like this. He didn't look scared. He didn't even reach for his own weapon. He just stood there, watching her with eyes as calm as a frozen lake. Her heart pounded so loud, she was sure he could hear it. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. She needed this. She was starving. But the way he looked at her, like he already knew she wouldn't pull the trigger. The Texas sun burned down on the dusty road, making the air shimmer like a mirage. Lillian Graves crouched behind a cluster of rocks, her fingers tight around the handle of her revolver. She had been waiting for hours, waiting for the right wagon to pass by, waiting for someone who looked weak enough to rob. Then she saw him, a lone man driving a supply wagon, his hat pulled low over his face. He was big, broad shoulders, strong arms, but he moved slow, like he wasn't in any hurry. That was good. Maybe he was tired. Maybe he wouldn't put up a fight. Lily took a deep breath and stepped into the road, lifting her gun. "Stop right there." Her voice cracked, but she forced it steady. "Hand over the supplies, and I won't shoot." The wagon creaked to a halt. The man didn't move. For a long moment, there was nothing but silence. Then, slowly, he lifted his head. Lily's stomach twisted. His eyes were the coldest blue she had ever seen. Not angry, not afraid, just watching, like he already knew every thought in her head. She tightened her grip on the gun. "I said give me the food. Now." Still, he didn't speak. Instead, he leaned back in his seat and crossed his arms, like he was waiting for her to make the next move. Her hands were sweating. She had robbed men before, but they always yelled. They always fought. This man, he didn't do anything. Swallowing hard, she stepped closer and grabbed a sack of flour from the wagon, then a small pouch of coins. Her fingers brushed against something else, a tiny, delicate locket. Without thinking, she stuffed it into her pocket. She turned to run. Then his voice stopped her. "You forgot one thing, darling." Lily froze. Her whole body went stiff. This was it. He was going to shoot her in the back. She had heard stories of men like him, men who didn't waste bullets on warning shots. Slowly, she turned. He hadn't moved. His gun was still in its holster. "My last name," he said. "McCallister. And around these parts, that means you just became my problem." Lily didn't understand. Was he letting her go? But before she could ask, he tipped his hat and flicked the reins. The wagon rolled forward, leaving her standing in the dust, clutching stolen goods, and wondering what kind of man didn't fight back when he was robbed, and why that scared her more than a gun ever could. The sun was sinking behind the hills when Lily finally stopped running. Her legs ached, her stomach growled, and the sack of stolen flour felt heavier with every step. She had expected gunshots, shouting, a chase, anything but silence. That man, McCallister, had just let her go, and that bothered her more than if he had shot at her. She found a spot under a gnarled oak tree and dropped the sack, digging through it. Flour, a few coins, some dried meat, enough to last her a few days if she was careful. Then her fingers brushed against the locket. She pulled it out, turning it over in her palm. It was small silver, with tiny flowers carved into it, too fine for a man like him to just let go. A rustling in the bushes made her jump. She shoved the locket into her pocket and grabbed her gun, pointing it at the shadows. Easy now. That voice. She knew it. McCallister stepped into the clearing, hands raised. No weapon, just those steady blue eyes watching her. Lily didn't lower her gun. "You followed me." "I did." "Why?" He tilted his head, studying her like she was a puzzle. "You're hungry." She glared. "I got food. I don't need your help." "You're also alone, and night's coming." She didn't answer. He was right, and she hated it. McCallister sighed, then jerked his thumb toward the road. "Got a ranch not far from here. You work, you eat. Simple as that." Lily's fingers tightened on the gun. "What's the catch?" "No catch." She snorted. "Men always want something." His jaw clenched just for a second. Then he said, "I ain't like that, but suit yourself." He turned to leave. Lily's stomach growled again. Loud. He stopped. Didn't look back. Just waited. She bit her lip. She didn't trust him. But she was tired. And hungry. And winter was coming. Fine, she muttered. But I sleep with my gun. He nodded once. Fair enough. The McCallister ranch was bigger than Lily expected. A sturdy log house, a barn, a corral with a few horses. Neat. Clean. Nothing like the filthy outlaw camps she was used to. McCallister, Zeke, as he told her to call him, showed her the bunkhouse where she'd sleep. It was small but solid, with a real bed and a blanket. Lily eyed it suspiciously. You expect me to believe you just let strangers stay here? He shrugged. You're the first. She didn't know what to say to that. The next morning, he put her to work feeding the chickens. Simple. Easy. But Lily wasn't used to taking orders. Why do you even need me? She grumbled, tossing corn at the clucking birds. You got 2 hands. You can do this yourself. Zeke didn't look up from fixing the fence. Ain't about need. Then what's it about? He paused, wiped his forehead. Everybody deserves a fair chance. She rolled her eyes. That's stupid. He just went back to work. Later, at supper, she watched him bow his head and murmur something under his breath. Praying. She stabbed her fork into her potatoes. You really talk to God like he's listening. Zeke looked up. Yep. She snorted. He ever talk back? Sometimes. She opened her mouth to mock him, but the words stuck in her throat. There was no joke at his face. No anger either. Just quiet, like he really believed it. She looked away first. That night, she lay in the bunkhouse, turning the stolen locket over in her fingers. She should have sold it by now. But something kept stopping her. Outside, she heard Zeke's voice, low and steady. Praying again. She pulled the blanket over her head. Men like him didn't exist. Not really. Sooner or later, he'd show his true colors. And when he did, she'd be ready. The days settled into a rhythm. Lily worked, feeding chickens, mending fences, hauling water, and Zeke paid her in meals and silence. He didn't push her to talk, didn't ask about her past, but she caught him watching her sometimes, like he was trying to figure her out. Then came the day they went into town. Lily hadn't wanted to go, but Zeke needed supplies. Stay close, he said as they rode in, and don't start trouble. She rolled her eyes. I ain't the one who starts things. The town was busy, full of noise and people. Lily kept her head down, her hand near her pocket where the locket still sat, heavy with guilt. She told herself she'd give it back. Eventually, then she heard the laughter. 3 men leaned against the saloon, their voices loud and rough. One of them spotted her and grinned. Well, look here. McCallister's got himself a new pet. Lily stiffened but kept walking. The man stepped in front of her. What's the matter, girl? Keg out your tongue. She met his eyes. Move. He laughed, reaching for her arm. Feisty. I like. His words cut off with a grunt as Lily drove her fist into his stomach. The next few minutes were a blur of fists and shouting. Lily fought dirty, like she'd learned in the outlaw camps. Knees and elbows and teeth if she had to. But there were 3 of them, and she was tiring fast. Then a shadow loomed beside her. Zeke. He didn't yell. Didn't even throw the first punch. Just stood there, solid as a mountain, and the men hesitated. The leader spat. This ain't your fight, McCallister. Zeke's voice was quiet. You touched what's mine. That makes it my fight. Lily's breath caught. What's mine? The men must have seen something in his eyes, because they backed off, muttering curses as they stumbled away. Lily wiped blood from her lip. I had it handled. Zeke nodded. I know. Then he did something strange. He smiled. Just a little. Like he was proud of her. And that made her chest ache in a way she didn't understand. The sky turned black by afternoon. Lily had seen storms before, but this one felt different, angry. The wind howled, and the first drops of rain hit like bullets. Zeke grabbed her arm. Barn's too far. We'll ride for the line shack. They barely made it. The shack was small, just 4 walls and a roof, but it was dry. Lily collapsed inside, gasping, as thunder shook the ground. Zeke lit a lantern, the glow flickering over his face. "You hurt?" She shook her head. Outside, the storm raged. Rain pounded the roof, and lightning split the sky. Lily flinched at every crack of thunder. Zeke didn't seem bothered. He pulled out a strip of jerky and handed her half. She chewed slowly, watching him. "You ain't scared?" "Of a little rain? Of dying?" He studied her. "Everybody dies. But not today." She huffed. "You don't know that." Instead of answering, he bowed his head. Lily stared. "You're praying? Now?" He didn't stop. Just spoke softly, like God was sitting right beside him. "Lord, keep us safe through this storm. And if it's your will, calm the winds so we can get home." Lily waited for something. Lightning to strike, the shack to collapse. But nothing happened. Then, slowly, the rain lessened. The wind died down. Her heart pounded. Coincidence. It had to be. But when she looked at Zeke, his face was peaceful, like he'd expected nothing less. That night, as she lay on the thin cot, she whispered into the dark, "God, if you're really there." She didn't know how to finish, but for the first time in years, she wondered if someone was listening. The morning sun painted the ranch golden as Lily carried water from the well. 3 weeks had passed since the storm, and something strange was happening. She didn't hate it here anymore. The work was hard but honest. Zeke was quiet but kind. For the first time in her life, she almost felt safe. Then she heard the horses. 5 riders came up the road, dust swirling around them. Lily froze when she saw the man in front, tall, with a jagged scar running down his cheek. Jesse Graves, her brother. Her bucket hit the ground with a thud. Well, Jesse's voice slithered through the air like a snake. Little Lily playing house with a rancher. Zeke stepped out from the barn, his hand resting near his gun. He didn't speak, just looked from Jesse to Lily and back. Jesse grinned, showing yellow teeth. "She belonged to you now, McCallister. I'll buy her back. Got good money for my sister." Lily's hand shook. This was why she'd run. Why she'd rather starve than go back. Zeke's voice came low and steady. "She's not for sale." Jesse's smile disappeared. "Everything's for sale." He turned to Lily. "You coming quiet, or do I drag you?" Lily opened her mouth, but Zeke spoke first. "You touch her," he said. "You answer to me." The air went still. Jesse's men shifted in their saddles. Everyone knew what that meant in the West. Challenge. For a long moment, no one moved. Then Jesse spat in the dirt. "This ain't over." He pointed at Lily. "You'll be back. You always come back." As they rode away, Lily's legs gave out. She sank to the ground, trembling. Zeke knelt beside her. "You're safe here." She wanted to believe him, but she'd seen that look in Jesse's eyes before. He wouldn't give up. Not ever. The fire started at midnight. Lily woke to the smell of smoke and the crackle of flames. She threw open the bunkhouse door and saw the barn glowing orange against the black sky. "Zeke." She ran toward the house, heat licking at her skin. He was already outside, throwing buckets of water on the flames. "Get the horses out," he shouted. Lily didn't think. She ran straight into the burning barn. Smoke burned her eyes as she freed the terrified animals, slapping their rumps to send them running to safety. When she stumbled back out, coughing, Zeke grabbed her shoulders. "Are you hurt?" She shook her head, looking at the destruction. The barn was gone. The fence was burning. And in the flickering light, she saw something carved into the side of the house. Crude G. Graves. Her stomach twisted. This was her fault. Zeke followed her gaze. His jaw tightened, but he didn't yell. Didn't blame her. Just said, "We'll rebuild." Lily's eyes burned, and it wasn't from the smoke. "Why are you doing this? Why risk everything for me?" He looked at her then, really looked at her, and in his eyes she saw something that scared her more than any fire. "Because you're worth it." That night, as they sat watching the embers die, Lily made a decision. She reached into her pocket and pulled out the locket. "I took this the day we met." Zeke took it gently, running his thumb over the engraved flowers. "I know. You knew. From the start." Then why didn't you say anything? He closed the locket in his palm. I figured you'd give it back when you were ready. Tears spilled down Lily's cheeks. No one had ever trusted her before. No one had ever believed she could be good. She wiped her face roughly. I'm leaving tomorrow. Zeke went very still. Where will you go? Find Jesse. End this. She met his eyes. I won't let him hurt you again. For a long moment, Zeke was silent. Then he stood and walked to the house. Lily thought he was going inside, but he stopped at the porch and took something from a wall. His rifle. He strapped it on, then buckled his gun belt. We'll go together. Lily shook her head. This isn't your fight. Zeke adjusted his hat. Like I said before, you're mine. That makes it my fight. And for the first time, Lily didn't argue. Because maybe, just maybe, she was starting to believe it too. Dawn painted the sky in streaks of pink and gold as Lily and Zeke rode toward Black Canyon, where Jesse's gang was known to hide. Lily's fingers clenched around the reins, her stomach tight, with dread. She had spent years running from her brother. Now, she was riding straight toward him. Zeke rode beside her, silent as always, but his presence was steady, like an anchor in a storm. He had barely spoken since they left the ranch, but Lily knew his mind was working, planning. They reached the canyon by midday. The narrow pass was littered with boulders and scrub brush, perfect for an ambush. Lily's skin prickled. She knew Jesse. He wouldn't wait for them to ride in. Sure enough, a voice echoed off the rocks. Took you long enough, little sister. Jesse stepped into view, flanked by 4 of his men. His grin was sharp, his eyes cold. Brought your rancher to die with you? Lily dismounted, keeping her hands in sight. This is between us, Jesse. Let him go. Jesse laughed. Oh, I ain't letting nobody go. He drew his gun. You betrayed your own blood. That means you pay. Zeke moved then, stepping between Lily and the gun. Last chance to walk away, Graves. Jesse's face twisted. You don't give me orders, McCallister. The shot rang out before Lily could react. Zeke staggered back, hit. Something inside Lily snapped. She drew her gun and fired. The next moments were chaos, gunfire, shouts, the acrid smell of smoke. Lily moved without thinking, dodging behind rocks, returning shot for shot. She didn't stop until the canyon fell silent. When the dust settled, Jesse was on the ground, clutching his shoulder. His men were down or fleeing. Lily's hand shook as she turned to Zeke. He was leaning against a boulder, his shirt dark with blood. Her breath caught. Zeke. He grimaced, pressing a hand to his side. Just a graze. I'll live. Jesse groaned, trying to crawl away. Lily stepped toward him, gun still in hand. He looked up at her, fear in his eyes for the first time. Lily, you wouldn't shoot your own brother. She stared at him, remembering every cruel word, every bruise. Every night she'd gone hungry because of him. Then she lowered the gun. No, she said softly, but I ain't saving you either. She turned her back on him and went to Zeke. The creek water was cool against Lily's skin as she waded in, her dress clinging to her legs. The preacher stood waist-deep, his Bible in hand. Zeke waited on the bank, his wound bandaged, his eyes steady on her. She had asked for this. After everything, after the fire, the fight, the moment she could have killed Jesse but chose not to. She had realized something. She wanted to be free, not just from her brother, but from the past that had haunted her for so long. The preacher smiled. Do you, Lillian Graves, turn away from your old life and accept God's grace? Lily's throat tightened. She glanced at Zeke, who gave her the smallest nod. Yes, she whispered. Then the preacher lowered her into the water. For heartbeat, everything was quiet. Just the rush of the creek, the warmth of the sun, the feeling of being held, not just by the water, but by something bigger. When she rose, gasping, she saw Zeke's face. There were tears in his eyes. She had never seen him cry before. Later, as they sat by the creek, Zeke reached into his pocket and pulled out the locket, the one she had stolen. He opened it, revealing a tiny picture of a woman with kind eyes. My wife, he said softly. She'd have liked you. Lily's heart ached. I'm sorry I took it. Zeke fastened the chain around her neck. It's where it belongs now. Under the wide Texas sky, Lily felt something she hadn't in years, hope. And when Zeke took her hand, she didn't pull away. The porch swing creaked as Lily rocked slowly, her bare feet brushing against the wooden planks. Summer had come to the McCallister ranch, bringing with it wildflowers in the fields and new life in the pastures. The burned barn was rebuilt, stronger than before. The fences stood tall and straight, and the locket, Zekes Locket, rested lightly against her chest, a reminder of how far she had come. Inside the house, Zeke hummed as he cooked supper. He was terrible at it, always too much salt, never enough seasoning, but Lily never complained. She liked the way he tried, liked the way he did everything for her, really. The screen door squeaked as he stepped outside, balancing 2 plates of questionable stew. "Supper time," he announced, sitting beside her. Lily took her plate, eyeing the contents. "What is it today?" "Beans. Maybe beef. Could be squirrel." He grinned when she made a face. She poked at it with her fork. "We're gonna starve if you keep cooking." "Then I guess you better teach me," he said, bumping her shoulder with his. She smiled, leaning into him. That was another thing she liked. How easy it was to be close to him now. No fear. No running. Just this. After supper, as the fireflies blinked in the gathering dark, Zeke pulled out his Bible. He did this most nights, reading a verse or 2 before bed. But tonight, he handed it to Lily. "Your turn," he said. She frowned. "I don't read so good." "Then I'll help." So she tried, stumbled over the words and proverbs, mixing them up, getting frustrated. But Zeke just laughed, not at her, but with her, until she was laughing too. When she finally gave up, shoving the Bible back at him, he caught her hand instead, held it. "Lily Graves," he said softly, "you are the orneriest, stubbornest woman I ever met." She raised an eyebrow. "That's supposed to be romantic." He kissed her then, slow and sweet, under a sky full of stars. When he pulled back, his eyes were warm. Funny how a thief ended up stealing my heart. And as the crickets sang and the night wrapped around them, Lily knew she was home. Did you enjoy this story? If you loved Lily and Zeke's journey, tap the like button and subscribe for more heartwarming tales of love, redemption, and second chances. Let us know in the comments, what was your favorite moment? Want more stories like this? Stay tuned for our next adventure.